Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the corner. Welcome to your latest Chelsea transfer news. It's been a mad past 24 hours. Obviously, we've won a trophy. Yes, the trophy in itself might not be a huge deal in terms of Conference League, but it is a huge deal for the team that has not won anything. And it was very important for this lot of players, the manager and the ownership and the directorship to feel, and understand what it means to win a trophy. And hopefully this will kickstart and catapult into bigger and better things in the coming future with Club World Cup just around the corner. And of course, next season, Premier League and the Champions League, we must compete. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've already done our first transfer move. Looks like it's a done deal. We've got a here we go. Literally, 5-6 hours ago, I was asleep. I needed a good rest off the back of mad 24 hours. Look, Liam Delap to Chelsea Football Club. It's a rumor that's been going around for a long time. I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought he was probably going towards Man United. He fancied Man United. Newcastle as well was prowling around. Everton was sniffing around as well, but he has chosen Chelsea Football Club because, look, it feels like maybe we're in the right direction. I don't know. Having said that, I want to just make a few statements before we go through all the news in regards to Liam Delap, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's a fantastic talent. Don't get me wrong. I've never said on this channel. In fact, I was probably one of the very first ones earlier on, probably 5-6 months ago when Liam Delap, we all started to study and understand his talent. We started to say that, you know what, he could be a very, very good player down the track. There is no doubt Liam Delap is going to be an England international for a very, very long time, and he's going to be a prominent member for the national team. There is absolutely no doubt. But one thing's for certainty, he's not a finished product. He still needs to be developed. There is a lot that he needs to still learn. He's 22, I believe, so it's not like he's an absolute kid, you know what I mean, like your 17, 18-year-old. He is maturing. Hopefully he matures a lot more. He had a fantastic season at IPSWICH. He's done well against us. He's done well against the other teams as well in the Premier League, so he understands already what it means to be a Premier League player, but there's a lot to develop. I've been saying in recent times, look, if you get Liam Delap, you still need to add an experienced member in our team. You need to either add Osimhen or you need to either add Victor Gyökeres. One of those two needs to be added so that we can compete, because Nicholas Jackson, look, we've already seen. We saw in the final. It wasn't the greatest final from Nicholas Jackson. Yes, he scores a goal, very important goal, don't get me wrong. But Nicholas Jackson is also developing. We cannot have Nicholas Jackson developing and also Liam Delap developing on top of so many other players that are developing. And look, don't get me wrong. I think the team is on the right path. They are maturing. They are showing strength in mentality. Don't get me wrong, one bit, and next season, they'll probably grow even more off the back of this, now tasting some level of success this season. Champions League football, tick. Conference League trophy, tick. Club World Cup, hopefully massive tick coming up there. But this level of transaction, I just don't know whether you can win the big majors unless and until you start adding some form of experience and know-how and just litter the team with just continuously developing players. I'm just a bit skeptical about that. Let me know your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think this policy, do you think this model is going to bring us the major honors? I'm not talking about Conference League trophies no more. Next season, let's get the domestic cups. Let's go for the Premier League title. Let's go for the Champions League. I'm talking about that level. Are these players ready for that level? That is the question. Now, let's go through all the Liam Delap news from the beginning. And there are other bits and pieces as well. Marc, Guiu, ladies and gentlemen, potentially going to IPSWICH. And I really like that deal. We're going to talk about that and other bits and pieces that we want to touch base on. But of course, Liam Delap news is the biggest one. Now, first up, it was David Ornstein, Orny, who makes us generally all nice and horny. In this case, he has I thought all this time he was making Man United fans nice and horny in regards to Liam Delap. But I think Man United not making it into Champions League was a massive blow for them. So let's see. You never know. They might be interested in Gyökeres. Well, they have been interested in Gyökeres for a little while, and who knows, they might even end up getting Gyökeres. We'll see what happens there. David Ornstein, ladies and gentlemen, Liam Delap's suitor is being informed. So this was the very first news that dropped in regards to the whole Liam Delap situation. Liam Delap's suitor has been informed he is not joining them amid preference to sign for Chelsea. Sources at likes of Man United, Newcastle, Everton, and Nottingham Forest now aware 22-year-old on course for Chelsea, subject to personal terms and release clause requirements being met. Look, fantastic talent. Still got a lot to develop, but I think one of the very, very enticing component for Chelsea Football Club to get someone like Liam Delap is that release clause is cheap. I think it's something around 30 million. We're going to get to that. And his wages are going to be well within our region of 150,000. He's going to get nowhere near that. He's probably going to get something around 100,000. So it ticks all the boxes. Age, transfer fee, wages. Boom. Shebang. This is why Chelsea loved this deal. And of course, don't forget, Enzo Maresca was pushing for this guy. Enzo Maresca wanted him only. And you saw all throughout the season how Enzo Maresca talks about Liam Delap. Joe Shields apparently has been in the mix because he knows him from the Manchester City academy days. So, and apparently even Romeo Lavia acting as an agent. Romeo Lavia, Delap, I think all of these kids were Man City academy players once upon a time. So I'm sure Cole Palmer would know. There's a little bit of, Manchester City academy gathering happening at Chelsea Football Club right now. So we'll see what happens. Chelsea are prepared to seal Liam Delap deal soon after positive talks with the striker again this week. Delap gives the preference to Chelsea project and now expected to follow with formal steps, including 30 million release clause to be triggered. Look, deal underway. 30 million. That's for a player like Liam Delap. I think that is stupendous business. A player of his quality probably goes for 50 million, 55 million, maybe even 60 million. This is how crazy the market is. But because there's that release clause, I think from that perspective, it is truly decent business. It is truly decent business. My only concern is we have to add someone who's well experienced in the mix of all of this and can't just leave Delap and Jackson to run the show for us. Chelsea are closing in on Liam Delap as details of the long-term contract are being completed with his agents. I'm pretty sure we're probably going to give him 8-9 year contract. Enzo Maresca appreciation plus UCL football made the difference as Chelsea are set to activate 30 million release clause. Chelsea just wait for the formal communication right now. Look, us getting Champions League, 100%. It started to entice everyone out there again. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of young players that probably stopped believing in the Chelsea project. But the fact that in recent times we've got ourselves Champions League football, we've won the Conference League, Club World Cup. Hopefully we go as far as possible, maybe even win it. It's probably just reignited the fact that maybe the project is going the right way. We shall see what it brings for us next season. Because let's be honest, winning Premier League titles and competing in the Champions League and trying to win that is what we aspire for. That is what we aspire for. Chelsea strike total agreement with Ipswich Town to sign Liam Delap. Chelsea to activate 30 million release clause in 22-year-old strikers Ipswich Town contract. Personal terms for England Youth International still needs to be completed. No problems anticipated. And then Fabrizio Romano. Here we go. He drops the Breaking, Liam Delap to Chelsea. Here we go. Agreement in place as 30 million release clause will be triggered. Manchester City will now use buyback clause and Delap. Manchester City will not use buyback clause and Delap has already accepted Chelsea project. Long-term deal. Maresca's impact plus UCL football key. Delap will join Chelsea. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. Are you happy with Liam Delap? Look, I've always been very positive about the player. You guys already know this. Check all my previous videos. I've been watching Liam Delap, and I've actually said a long time ago, a couple of players that I mentioned, I talked about, and you can see all You Can Eat Chelsea previous episodes when it was on Matisse's channel. I said, hey, don't be shocked if we go for someone like Liam Delap. And I even said in the past couple of months, don't be shocked if you go for someone like Amiga from Strasbourg. And both of them are coming true. Both of them are coming true. And yes, there was a time where I was sort of saying maybe Delap is considering Newcastle because Isak might be moving. So, yeah, I'm not shocked that someone like Delap is coming to Chelsea. And as I've always said, I think he's a talented player, but lot to still develop. Liam Delap will sign his Chelsea contract in the next 24 hours as Ipswich Town has now authorized medical tests. Man City will get 30% of the deal as they had sell-on clause included in agreement with Ipswich Town. Buyback clause won't be activated. Delap will join Chelsea. So Manchester City not going for Delap. Obviously, they've got Haaland, they've got Marmoush, but they can, they get a nice 30% sell-on clause. So out of that 30 million, 30% will go to Manchester City. So they're happy with that, of course. Joe Shields was important in the deal for Liam Delap to Chelsea. Joe Shields seems to be any Manchester City academy players. We are very, very much linked with them. In recent time, last window, I'm pretty sure we were linked with Nico Riley from Manchester City. I don't think it's gonna happen anymore. And I'm pretty sure Manchester City now, they're fed up. You know what I mean? They're thinking, yeah, you're taking all our future talents and then you're trying to build something over there. Yeah, less of that now. We're gonna put an end to that. So I don't know whether Manchester City, will allow for some of the talented academy players to come and join Chelsea in the future anymore. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Marc Guiu news. Let's go with this. Ipswich Town have offered loan move to Marc Guiu as priority target. One of key profiles wanted by McKenna. It's a separate story from Liam Delap, Chelsea, but clubs in good relationship and Ipswich are pushing for Marc Guiu. This I rate. I really do. And I can't wait to actually watch him at Ipswich. Now, whether this is a loan or is it a permanent deal, we'll find out very, very soon. I don't mind it if it's a loan deal. It'd be very interesting to watch Ipswich in the Championship and follow the journey of Marc Guiu. Look, there's something about Marc Guiu. We've seen enough in the Conference League to say there's something about him. He's robust. He presses well. Is somewhat of a Liam Delap type of a player. I'm not even going to lie. Yeah, this guy could potentially become Liam Delap-esque type of a player in about a season's time. So I can understand why Ipswich going, because it's probably like for like, It's probably like for like, and McKenna wants that type of a character, someone who you can go along with, tall structure, can be good in the air. Obviously, he needs to develop all of these things, can hold up the play, can link up, bring others into the frame. And press as well, works hard off the ball. And if he can stay fit, hopefully he turns out to be a very, very good player. And we'll see what the future holds for Marc Guiu, ex-Barcelona Academy player as well. So, look, I like this move. Whether it's a sell, whether it's a loan, either way, I like it. A lot of people might say, look, now, maybe not sell him. Maybe let's keep him. Let's see. He might turn out to be a very good player. But either way, I don't mind. Whether it's a loan, whether it's a permanent, I think it's great for his developing. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts of Marc Guiu to Ipswich Town. What do you think about that? I personally like it. Next up, Chelsea striker update. After Liam Delap, it will depend on opportunities. Chelsea and Liverpool are informed on Ekitike, and there will be contacts with both clubs in the next days. We will know more next week on Ekitike. So, look, there was recent briefings that we're going for two strikers, both Delap and Ekitike. What does that mean for Jackson? It doesn't bode well. It seems like how are you going to fit three strikers that want to play regularly? So looks like now there's a bit of pause on Ekitike. There seems to be some concerns regarding the transfer fee. There seems to be, because it is quite hefty. I think it's somewhere around £80 million. Generally, you look at Liam Delap, 30 million release clause. Generally, that's not where we want to operate anymore. I know we did that for Enzo Fernandez. I know we did that for Caicedo, but we don't want to do that for anyone else anymore, it seems like. So, Ekitike, the price is expensive. I don't think the wage will be too much of a concern. Liverpool are lining him up as well. Let's see. I mean, look, I don't want both Delap and Ekitike. I think this is too much. We got Delap. I want an experienced player. And I'm not really sure whether Delap and Jackson, that's enough either. Do you know what I mean? So, look, I'm not too interested with Ekitike, but it looks like we are still monitoring it. I don't think we're going to go for it as yet. I know there's been strong rumors that maybe Ekitike is on the cards as well. Once again, in the comment section, let me know. Do you want both Ekitike and Delap, or do you want Delap and an experienced player? What does that mean for Jackson as well? Do you want to get rid of Jackson? Let me know in the comment section. Club preference is for Sancho to stay and adjust his wage to fit within Chelsea's incentive-driven structure. Chelsea will return the player if they can't agree terms. So that's what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. Jadon Sancho, look, I'll be honest. It's not been the greatest season. There's been some good goals. That Spurs goal, fantastic. There's been other quite important goals there, as obviously in the Conference League. Very, very good goal. Third goal, very important goal against Real Betis. But overall, we know he has struggled. We know he needs to give a lot more. If he stays at Chelsea Football Club, a lot of things need to fall into place. His wages at Man United are mad. He needs to take a massive wage cut. I think he's in excess of 250,000 over there. You ain't going to get that at Chelsea Football Club. So you need to bring yourself within that 150,000 bracket and then develop. And if we can't agree that, we need to pay that penalty, which is £5 million, I believe, and send it back to Man United. That's how I look at it. Look, I rather we send him back. I think we need better. But if he can develop more next season, who knows? Maybe he could be a decent enough player to have within the squad, considering we're going to be in we're going to be in Champions League next season, plus lots of domestic cups to play for as well. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this. I think large part of me is saying send him back to Man United. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, breaking: Chelsea are in contact with Jadon Sancho's representatives and would like him to stay if they can agree on contract terms. So this seems like we want to wrap this up one way or another. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? We'll find out very, very soon. Chelsea want to sign one more winger, with Chelsea loving Jamie Gittens, but there is more options. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano. Another one where is not a needle mover. He's not like a Michael Olise like last summer. We're going to get someone more developing players, man. This is a concern. You can't just influx the team with just developing players. You need ready-made players to go. And I know a lot of you guys might be a bit concerned about ready-made players. That is, sometimes they don't work out. But with developing players, it's difficult. It's difficult to compete at the highest level. You let me know. You let me know your thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the wrap-up of today's news. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe and hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. We shall see you guys very, very soon. Comment on each of this topic. Obviously, Liam Delap to Chelsea Football Club. Here we go. It's the biggest topic. Let me know your thoughts. Until next time, everyone. Take care. See ya. Goodbye.